All right. Good evening, everyone, and respected panelists, those who join and are joining in the process of celebrating this 111th International Women's Day, organized by the Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation America chapter. And today's topic, as we know, UN Women has given us a theme that women in leadership, achieving an equal future in a COVID-19 war. So on that topic, we focus on that topic and some housing rules and regulations. Once I call your name, please unmute yourself and present whatever you have, presentation or your speech within the time frame from 3 to 5 minutes. It would be better if you share your experiences in this global war. And now, without further any delay, I will call upon our chief guest of this event, Honorable Sujata Koirala, former Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal, former Foreign Minister of Nepal, influential women leader of Nepal, Central President, Chairperson of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation, and Central Working Committee member of Nepali Congress, the only democratic party of Nepal. I would like to welcome Honorable Sujata Koirala for her welcome remarks on this Global International Women's Day celebration. Please welcome Honorable Sujata Koirala.
Good morning from Nepal. It is morning here. First of all, I would like to extend my sincere and warm greetings to you all on the occasion of International Women's Day. On this occasion, I would like to recall the first United Nations International Conference held in Mexico City in 1975 that injected a powerful and global momentum for advancing women's rights. If we look around the globe today, we find governments adopted progressive legislation that promotes equal opportunities, treatment, and rights. Today, no area of responsibility is out of reach for women. Today, no area of note that they are increasingly assuming the leadership in legislature, executive, and judiciary. They have been successfully handling their responsibilities in economics, politics, management, public diplomacy, public relations, management areas. In their performance, women have shown that they are fully capable of doing their jobs. In fact, women have proved themselves better in every field, not only in the country, but also abroad. On the occasion of International Women's Day, March 8th, I would like to honor and appreciate all women, the stakeholders and organizations who are fighting for gender equality and women empowerment. There is yet another aspect to this bright side. It is regretful to note that majority of women across the globe continue to live in pitiable conditions, in misery and discrimination. They struggle for equal opportunities and basic human rights. The empowerment and autonomy of women and the improvement of their political, social, economic, and health status is highly important to lift up their status and economic independence. Equal partnership and ownership are essential for the achievement of sustainable development goals. Therefore, we should focus to improve the women's skills knowledge according to their abilities. Education is the most powerful instrument of transformation and one of the most important means of empowering women for self-confidence. Only education can motivate and make them capable of equal participation and equitable representation at all levels of the political process, public life in each society, and enabling women to articulate their concerns and needs. We have seen that that gender equality is strongly correlated with poverty. Even today, there is little attention paid to domestic violence and sexual harassment. Violence against women rarely goes punished. Women are deterred from reporting the discrimination by employers. It must end through strict implementation of laws, regulations, and other appropriate measures. When poverty and gender inequality are combined, they lead to an acute failure of any development programs. We must work to eliminate all practices that discriminate against women. That will pave the way for gender equality and take women beyond traditional boundaries. On this occasion, I would like to salute Muskan Khatun of Nepal for her courage to fight against her perpetrators. She has been on the front line in advocating new legislation to criminalize acid attacks and imposing strong penalties against perpetrators. The year 2020 was a year we all suffered from coronavirus pandemic. I'm so pleased to note that the women leadership in several countries has proved better and excelled in overcoming the pandemic constraints. They have shown leadership, gate strength, courage to help people in distress. I express my respect for them and honor their leadership. Let us dedicate ourselves to gender equality and women empowerment. This is an occasion to rededicate ourselves to the fulfillments of commitments we made in the past to advance the status of women at the national and global level. Thank you so much. And once more, a happy Women's Day to everybody.
Somnath, you're muted. We cannot hear you.
Oh, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Sujata Koirala, for your welcome remarks on celebrating 111th International Women's Day. Now, without any further delay, now I will call all of us on this Zoom gathering on this platform to be silent for 30 seconds. As I came to know, the mother of our council member, New York City Council member, Honorable Andrea Adams, passed away last Thursday. And let us pray 30 seconds, tributes and respect to Ruth Middleton, the mother of Honorable Andrea Adams, New York City Council member, and to all our great and role model global women and uncountable sisters, especially those who sacrificed their lives remaining behind the curtain to make this world a better place for all of us today. Let's be silent for 30 seconds and pray for them. Thank you. Thank you. May peace prevail on this earth. Thank you. Now, I'd like to call upon Honorable Ghazala Hassimi, the Virginia State Senator, for her remarks.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for the kind invitation to join you all this evening and to join GPK Foundation, the America chapter, to celebrate and honor women on the 2021 International Women's Day. As we all know, for far too long, women's voices and their experiences have been either marginalized or silenced. And I want to especially honor and thank those among us who have stood up and spoken out and have challenged patriarchy and the orthodoxy and all of the structures that prevent women and girls from full participation in their societies. And I'm talking about all of our wonderful writers, journalists, and our social, education, business, and political leaders. Each of these women have created a path for the rest of us to follow. And when we're thinking about the theme for the International Women's Day, thinking about how COVID has impacted all of our lives and our communities, one thing it's shown with glaring clarity is the very vulnerable and the precarious nature of our progress in global women's rights. In the United States, what we've seen is that 4 times as many women as men have actually dropped out completely from the labor force by September 2020. And this translates to almost 1 million women in America. And so if we're going to come out of this pandemic with a stronger and a more stable economy and society, we really must focus on and prioritize the issues that pertain to women in particular. And these impacts that we've seen through COVID have especially impacted women of color, Black and brown women, who face all of those intersectionality of issues across gender, race, and class. And many of these women were on our front lines as essential workers, and they had to solve so many of the issues and challenges on their own without support. And as a result of a variety of factors, including policy choices that were historically grounded in racism or sexism, low-wage workers, solo mothers, women of color, these 3 groups that have considerable overlap with each other, these women are all too often put in an economic position that force them to leave the labor force and to care for children or care for elderly relatives. And many of these women were also exposed to COVID themselves, resulting, as we've seen, in disproportionately high rates of hospitalization or loss of income, loss of jobs, evictions, and tragically, even higher rates of death as well. So if we want to fulfill the theme of achieving an equal future in a COVID-19 world, we all know that we have to prioritize and place in the center of our policy the work that is focused in key and central areas. And these include universal childcare access so that women of low income can return to the workforce, and higher quality of early childhood education so that their children have an opportunity that they've historically not been provided. We also need to ensure that women globally have access to reproductive rights, to contraception, to quality health care. And one thing we have to do very deliberately is to place in the center the work of low-income professions, these professions that typically fall upon the backs of women, work such as farm labor, domestic work, the caregiving industries and professions, healthcare professions that are oftentimes fall to women, and the work of teachers. These are critical areas in order to build our economy and to support women and their families. We also have to prioritize the issues of sexual harassment, sexual assault, domestic violence, and abuse. These are concerns that impact all women throughout the world. And if we're going to build back better in the near future, we have to pursue policies that correct these historic wrongs, that help to empower women, and in turn, then reshape the society into what we really want to see, a more democratic, more equitable, and a more just society. So thank you so much for allowing me to join you this evening and to share some thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Ghazala Hassimi, Virginia State Senator, for your valuable inputs on celebrating this 111th International Women's Day. Thank you. Next, I would like to call upon Honorable Jennifer Raj Kumar, and she is our history first South Asian woman to win this seat in New York State Assembly. New York State Assemblywoman, Honorable Jennifer Raj Kumar.
You are muted.
Great. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, hello. Happy International Women's Day to everybody. My name is Jennifer Raj Kumar. I'm the first South Asian woman to be elected in New York State, but I know I'm definitely not the last one. And I stand on all of your shoulders, and including my good friend Somnath. You all were here for me, and you made this great victory happen. I am here today because I want to make sure that all young girls have all the opportunities in the world. We have so much further to go to make sure that we have equality, equal pay, that we have an equal rights amendment to ensure equality in constitutional law, that we make sure that women make as much on the dollar as men, and that we make sure that all women in the world are free from violence and fear. And that is always central to my platform and to my beliefs. And I'm here with women every step of the way on this International Women's Day. I'd like to remind you of the words of the International Women's Treaty ratified by the United Nations. And it says that the welfare of the world depends on the equal participation of women with men in all fields. The welfare of the world depends upon it. So I remind you of all of that on International Women's Day. And also the words of one of my idols, a great American, Shirley Chisholm, who said that if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And what this means is keep up with your goals at all costs. And if you're not allowed into a room or not given a seat, humbly go there anyway and bring your own folding chair. So approach every task with humility and don't let anything get in the way of your goals. So I thank you very much for hosting this event on International Women's Day. And let's keep making progress for all women and girls all around the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your remarks, Honorable Jennifer Raj Kumar, a historic woman, an idol for all South Asian women and men also, as you said. We are working together. She's the first South Asian woman to be elected in the New York State Assembly. Thanks again for your remarks. Next, I'd like to call upon Honorable Lucia Kaiser. She's the Hollywood producer and humanitarian. Lucia Kaiser, for your remarks. As she has to leave early, she has an appointment at 8 o'clock.
So nice that I was able to participate in this absolutely wonderful, honorable evening. Leong asked me to tell you girls a little bit more, and Mr. President and Chairwoman, I'm very honored, a little bit more of my background. It's going to be very quick because it's hard to say, but I was basically born on a boat. My parents immigrating from Sicily, and when I was popped out of my mother's stomach, she said I was born with confidence. I was dancing and I was talking. So that, I think, led into my career. At the age of 18, I became Johnny Carson's apprentice. And at 19 years old, I was the first executive for NBC, and I actually booked the Johnny Carson show. Hopefully you gals remember Johnny Carson. I hope you all know who he was. 5 incredible years of my life. And at that young age, I was offered to be president of my first advertising agency, All Women in New York. Once I left that because of sexual harassment in those years, very long story, I did end up in Hong Kong on vacation, And I'm the only female ever to be president of Bruce Lee's film company in Hong Kong for 2 years. It was the most amazing 2 years you can imagine. He treated me with total respect. And I actually was the one who negotiated with Warner Brothers, Enter the Dragon. And I left there. It's difficult to talk, you know, about everything in such a short time. But when I left there to go on vacation to Munich, I met the love of my life in Germany. So I left Bruce Lee that year, and that was tragically the year he passed away. And I've been very honored in the last few years, thanks to Dr. Leong and many others, to have won many awards in his honor and my honor. In fact, these pearls I'm wearing in honor of Bruce Lee were given to me a few years ago on Wall Street, getting this extraordinary award. I've done many, many things. I'm now back in New York, well, in New Jersey right now, back in New York, and I am producing a major film, which a lot of the proceeds are going to go to my passion, which is human trafficking. I've been involved in ending human trafficking my entire life. And, you know, through COVID, we've lost so many, too many friends and people in our lives. But I just want to, I had so much more to say to you, and I hope I have a better opportunity, but I wanted to leave you with this, that the world needs to really change, as we all know. And kindness to me is a big way, a big, important way. You can just change this world just by changing a person's life every day. If you can just do one little kind thing once a week, help your neighbors, whatever it might be, delivering food to them. You know, it's so important these days. And I'm in the midst of writing a book, working on a TV series on my life story, and a movie on my life story aside from this. So a lot of the proceeds will be going to help also some very important people who have helped us in the COVID world. And I'm just very pleased to have met all of you this way, and I hope to continue our friendship. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
I'm
Honorable
so sorry
Lucia.
I have to leave so early.
Thank you.
Bless you all.
Thank you so much, sharing your experiences during the time that you faced being a female. So thank you.
I won 2 Emmys, and I'm working on my Academy Award. I forgot to mention that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Now, I would like to welcome Assemblywoman, New York State Assemblywoman, Honorable Jessica Gonzalez-Rojas.
Hi, Somnath. Thank you all so much for having me. Thank you to the GPK Foundation for always doing such important work. And of course, today is a very special day. It's International Women's Day. And I see my other Assembly colleague, Assemblywoman Jennifer Raj Kumar. We had to also have different events tonight, but always very grateful for your work. You know, today's a very special day because it really elevates the international contributions that women have made across the globe. And as someone who has been working in the field of reproductive justice for the last 13 years prior to running for assembly, I recognize how important it is to ensure that we're equipping our women in our communities with the knowledge and power to fight, right? Because I believe that the voices of those most impacted are those that are going to create the change, right? So it's not about giving voice to someone else, it's about elevating the voices of our communities. And I believe every single person has power, right? And that our human rights cross borders, right? We carry those rights with us as we cross borders. So today's an incredibly important day to elevate the contributions, the voices and the power of women across our globe. And right here in Queens, we see so much change and shift in the voices of women, the power that we bring, and the fight that we bring to many, many levels of government. I'm incredibly proud to be the first woman of color, Latina, person of color to represent my district, which is the 34th Assembly District, which includes the neighborhoods of Jackson Heights, East Elmhurst, Corona, and Woodside. We speak nearly 200 languages. We are 88% people of color. We have such a large Nepalese community, a Latino community, a South Asian community. We're incredibly diverse, and we've never been represented by a person of color. So I'm so humbled to be that person. I've just been in the job for 2 months, but I am very proud to work alongside many of you in our fight for health, dignity, and justice across the state. So thank you for your work. Thank you for this incredibly special day and this celebration. And I'm just grateful for the leadership of all our community members and for the GPK Foundation. So thank you, Somnath, for inviting me. I'm always really grateful to be in community together.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Assemblywoman Honorable Jessica Gonzalez Rojas, for your valuable inputs and thoughts. And we are together in uplifting our communities. Thanks again. And thank you for joining in last minute for a busy schedule. As you know, you are working so hard for our district. Thanks again. Now, I'd like to call upon Honorable Carol Murphy, New Jersey Assemblywoman, for your remarks. Honorable Carol Murphy.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, I'm a Carol Murphy, Assemblywoman from Burlington County in New Jersey, South Jersey, and I also serve as the Deputy Majority Leader in the State Assembly. And to echo many of my fellow colleagues and women remarks is that, yes, we have to raise our voices. We have to be the strongest voice there is for many of our women and sisters who cannot or do not have the strength to raise their voice, to talk about the issues. And as a woman legislator, working in the legislature and on many pieces of legislation that has to do with women, the one thing the pandemic has shown to me, and I hope to a lot of you, that women have been impacted tremendously. The strength that we had to show, as many women have, is being able to juggle kids at home with school, be able to continue working our jobs, continue taking care of our families, all while maintaining that sense of balance that we as women can do so very well. And also thank you to the men out there that supports the women, that supports the idea that we are invincible, we are strong, we are leaders. I belong to many women's groups here in New Jersey, including Alice Paul. Last year, as a woman legislator and as a woman around the nation, we've seen the 100th anniversary of the women's suffrage movement, which allowed the women's right to vote. And as we celebrated that, it got lost because of the pandemic. This year, as we celebrate International Women's Day, let's not forget the fact that women are still fighting. Women are still working harder than ever to continue moving forward, to continue walking the path of the women and our sisters before us. As a member of Alice Paul board here in Mount Laurel, I can tell you I have spoken with many of our government leadership council, girls who are from the ages of 14 to 18, and listened to the inspiration that they provide to me as a woman as well. The idea that they are out there making their way to continue moving, continue running for the future. And there are many issues as well that we have to continue working on. And I believe someone had mentioned it so eloquently, is making sure women have not only the right to vote, not only the power, not only do we empower them, but they also have the ability and the capability to be able to do the jobs that are out there, and they don't get passed over because they are women. Human trafficking is also an extremely important issue, and I was glad to see Sandra had brought that up. We in New Jersey, as Women Caucus leaders, have been working on human trafficking and how it impacts us as women in general, not just those victims. I've heard so many, stories of victims over the last few months. It impacts all of us as we continue to move forward and making sure that human trafficking, inequality, hate, for whether it's the color of your skin or for your religious beliefs or for your culture are all eliminated from our society and our environment. And it's important that we work together to make that happen. And that is the only way we're going to continue working together. And lastly, I have to say thank you to GPK Foundation. You have invited me to all of your events. I am so honored and privileged. I remember coming to New York a couple years ago. I had the opportunity of meeting so many people, and I hope that that opportunity happens soon in the future, that we can get together, not only as a group, but also as leaders. And with that being said, I would love the opportunity to invite each and every elected official who are women to join me on the National Foundation for Women Legislators. I am the state director here in the state of New Jersey, and it is an organization, a bipartisan organization, which we get together. It's free of charge, so you can go on and sign up, be part of another women's movement, be part of a women's organization that allows us to continue talking the issues that impact us, continue being part of the solution and not the problem, continue creating the pathway for our younger friends to walk behind us and to continue to let them run past us with more inspiration and more power. And in addition to that, also look as a member who was just elected to sit on the National Coalition for State Legislatures. I was invited to be on the executive committee. And I have to tell you, that's also another avenue that I'm going to continue making sure that women's issues, family issues, all issues are brought to the forefront so they can be resolved, so we can exactly achieve the equality, the empowerment, and I'm getting tongue-tied because there's just so much going on that we as women should be capable and able to achieve. And unfortunately, the struggles and the frustration that we face tends to get the best of us. So with that, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to put my email and I'm going to put my office phone number in the chat. And I hope anyone who does and would like to work together, including my colleagues across the bridge in the Assembly, want to get together and start working on issues. I'm here to do that. I think this is going to be such a wonderful opportunity to do so and to continue making our women's environment a stronger and better place to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your valuable inputs on this celebration of International Women's Day today. Honorable Carol Murphy, as we know, she is also the state chairperson or director for the women legislator, right? So yes, like let us devote, like I said, let us devote for equity with equality. Let us devote for equity with equality. Thank you. Thank you again, Honorable Carol Murphy. Next, I would like to invite Honorable Gina M. La Placa, ESQ, and she's the mayor of Lumberton Township, New Jersey. For your remarks, please welcome Gina La Placa, Honorable Gina La Placa, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. It is truly an honor to be among such esteemed and impressive women and men. I've appreciated so much hearing everyone's remarks so far, and I can't wait to hear the rest of it. So if you're not familiar with Lumberton, New Jersey, we are a suburb of Philadelphia. We are also in Burlington County, where Assemblywoman Murphy is. So we're South Jersey strong here tonight. I've been the mayor of the town for 2 months, so I'm new to the job, but I am not new to government and politics. I've actually spent my entire career in politics and public policy. And to give you a sense of how much things have changed in my town to allow me to be elected, you know, just 5 years ago, our governing body was all male and all white. And I was up for appointment to a local board in the area. And the mayor of our town at the time said that I was not qualified to serve our community because of who my boyfriend was, and that I would just be a puppet for his thoughts and his ideas. And while I wasn't surprised personally that he would say that, what surprised me was that he didn't say it in private conversation or on Facebook. He said it to the newspaper of record, and he had no shame in sharing that point of view. And frankly, not really many people called him out for it or thought it was an odd perspective to take. But fast forward to now, when I won election in November, I was the highest vote getter in Lumberton history. And when I was sworn in as mayor in January, I now preside over the first majority female township committee in Lumberton history. And for the first time ever, both the mayor and deputy mayor are females. And why is this important? Well, as we said that night, our work didn't stop when we got elected, it only started. And in addition to the importance of serving our community and ensuring that we have more diverse representation in our local government, I have doubled down my own personal efforts to encourage more women to run for office, particularly local office. Because not only is that, I believe, the pipeline to higher office and higher leadership positions, but for the vast majority of people, the elected officials that you interact with most and see the most are your local government officials, your township councils, and your mayors. Those are the people who deal with your day-to-day issues that may affect you the most, depending on where you live. And I consider it my mission to show people what it means to have women in positions of governance and leadership and be, the executive of your town. I can't speak for everyone, but when I was a kid, the two elected officials I knew the most were my president and my mayor. So I just take it as a responsibility to take the victories that we achieved and pass them on to others, because it makes a difference. When women have a seat at the table, we have different policy priorities, we have different ways of solving problems. And I can tell you in the 2 short months that we have been running Lumberton Township, residents are already responding to the change in tone and our collaborative way of approaching things, and just the way we interact with residents in a very different way. So I'm so proud of what we've been able to achieve here and look forward to doing more. And I consider that hopefully my contribution to women's empowerment is just encouraging more women to step out of the shadows and ignore the nasty things that get said about you in the newspaper or on Facebook and just keep pushing forward, because there's way more of us than there are of people who think that way. As you can see by all the women who are on this event tonight. So again, thank you so much for honoring me with letting me participate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor Honorable Gina and Plaka, for sharing your inspirational story. So thanks again. Now I'd like to call upon Honorable Ronda Bender, who is our Deputy Borough President. Please welcome Ronda Bender, Honorable Ronda Bender.
Hi, good evening, Samantha. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's fine, yes.
Thank you so much to the GPK Koirala Foundation for inviting me to speak today at the 112th International Women's Day celebration. I serve as the Deputy Borough President for the Great Borough of Queens, and I just have to say congratulations again. In partnership, we've done a lot of work together with testing and keeping the people in Queens safe. And so thank you for sharing the information over this past year with your community and sharing the PPE with us. And we look forward to continued partnership with my boss, who is Donovan Richards Jr., and he is the borough president. I have to tell you that I'm so inspired by the women today. There are people on this call that I have just been blown away by, and especially in the recent past in New York, including the Assemblywoman Jennifer Raj Kumar and Jessica Rojas. They are just such strong voices for the community here, for the women's voices here. And as you know, there's a lot happening right now at the state level. So I appreciate having their strong voices, especially right now. But I also have to say that growing up in New York and watching the sort of lack of representation, especially in my community, in the South Asian community, I always looked to New Jersey because I would go to women's legislator events, and there would be so many women there from New Jersey. And I'm like, well, we're right next door. What's happening here? So I have to say that we finally caught on, and I'm glad to see women like Jessica and Jennifer finally representing us here in Queens. And also, representing for the immigrant voices too, right? So I'm also a daughter of immigrants. My parents are from Guyana, and I acknowledge a great sacrifice that my parents and especially the strong women in my lineage have made. And I have to shout out my mom who's watching. I'm wearing purple in honor of her today. It's her favorite color. And they've allowed me the path to be here today and to live the American dream. So educational opportunities we talked about, I've heard so many of you mention, that's usually the way we can move up, right? But as a woman of color, I've still also felt that there was this ever-present glass ceiling, no matter what I did. And I feel as if at this moment in time, because of the 2020 elections, we are at an epic change because of the election of Kamala Harris. And I'm going to quote her because she's just been so inspiring. And I really do think that this is a special moment to pull the people that you've pulled together today. And just to remind some of the great things that she said. So I'm going to just read a couple of her quotes. The vice president has said that there will be people who say to you that you're out of your lane, that you're burdened by only having the capacity to see what's always been instead of what can be, but don't let that burden you. You know, she is the first African-American and South Asian vice president. And this is really a pivotal moment for our country, and I think also for the world. She's also said that I mentor a lot of people. I will say to them, you will often find that you are the only one who looks like you in the room, be it at the conference table or at a meeting, wherever you are. But the thing to remember is that you are never alone in that room. We are all in that room with you, expecting that you will use your voice and use it with pride and use it in a way that represents all of us who are not in the room and not physically there with you. It is part of the way that she has approached her work as always. So together as women, women of all complexions, women of all ethnicities, of all faiths, we together can make a difference. We can strive to break that glass ceiling hovering above us. We can strive to achieve together to change the portrait of American leadership. And I just have to, and leadership around the world. And so this challenge, the theme this year is choose to challenge. And I ask all of you to choose to challenge the status quo and support one another, continue to support one another. And it's, you know, it's particularly special to have the support from men. So thank you all for being here as well. And I just wanted to say on behalf of Borough President Donovan Richards, we're working very hard to level that playing field and to break that glass ceiling. In fact, we're launching for the first time for Queens Gender Justice Unit. And so just please keep in touch with us if we could ever be of assistance to you. And congratulations again to all the great work that you're doing. And thank you for celebrating us today, Somnath. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ronda Bender, Deputy Borough President, for your valuable inputs and thoughts and suggestions. Thanks again for joining us in celebration of this 111th International Women's Day. Next, I would like to call upon Victoria Piloti, who is the President of Center for the Women of New York.
Good evening, everyone. Since our founding in 1987, the Center for the Women of New York has shown that women working together can be an effective force. CWNY is a voluntary nonprofit organization that advocates for women's rights and full equality for women. The center empowers women to reach their full potential by offering services that provide the skills, information, and support they need to address economic, emotional, and legal challenges. We provide resources and organize panel discussions on topics such as domestic violence and human trafficking that unfortunately impact too many women. We also offer an annual career conference to enable women to gain employment and rise in the workplace. International Women's Day is an opportunity to celebrate women's accomplishments and leadership. This special day is also an opportunity to tell her story, to balance the telling of his story over the millennia. So I thank you all for this opportunity, and thank you for all your remarks about women and empowering women.
Thank you so much for your short and sweet remarks, Victoria Piloti, President of Center for the Women of New York. Next, I'd like to call upon Andrea Wen. Almost getting late over there. It's the one almost 2 o'clock, right? 2 a.m. in the morning. Yes, Andrea Wen.
Yeah, but it's never too late to talk about women and women's rights and such an amazing topic I am so grateful. I want to start paying all my respects to the GPK Foundation, and especially to the Honorable Sujata Koirala, because she's the kind of woman that has made history, and she has achieved things that a few decades ago seemed to be impossible. And right now, the possibilities have opened to many women, and the proof is that you just have to look at this panel and look at all the faces of all these powerful women, all they have achieved when it just seemed impossible just a few decades ago. And that deserves a huge recognition. Also to the GPK Foundation, because for giving the voice to the ones that not always have it. For us to have the voice, we need somebody to pass the mic to us. And that's what this wonderful platform is doing. I want also to thank Somnath and all the men that are supporting women that genuinely see us as equals. And when I say genuinely, is that you're not seeing us as sex objects or as, yeah, whatever, that woman that speaks a lot or maybe too much, but that actually see us as equals and can look us to the eyes and work side by side, hand by hand, to really make great things happening. In fact, one of the most feminist person I have ever met is a man, and he's actually on this panel, Dr. Leong Ying, and he taught me how important it is to have men by our side, because ultimately we are all one. I created a global social movement called One Humanity, One World, which basically have the vision we dream for everyone to see the world as one family. And that means that we all should respect everyone and care of everyone as if it was a family of ours. And I believe that even nowadays, we are not giving so much value to the female figure. And I'm not talking just about business or high status positions, but what about our mothers? Are we really giving our mothers, are we putting them on the pedestal they deserve to be? And the reason I say this is because I believe that a new world is gonna be born through the at-home education of mothers. Because be it men or women, you have been born and raised by your mother. And she has been the one who have teach you how to see the world through her eyes. So it all starts in the women. And we really have a great power that I believe that we're not even aware of, or making such a great impact and change. Right now, One Humanity, One World is developing an educational curriculum because our dream is to make education genuinely free, quality education accessible for everyone in every corner of the world. And one of our most important subjects is home education, because education starts at our homes. That's the core and nucleus of society. And a few days ago, my little brother asked me if I believe that we still live in a chauvinist world, in a man-dominating world, even when we see women standing up like we can see now. And I told him, yes, because chauvinism is in society's consciousness, is in our thinking. So all of that, the roots is in our education. And that's why I'm so blessed to have with so many committed people from all around the world, women and men that are so devoted to really make equality happen through actions. And I feel very inspired and kind of overwhelmed by all the positive and lovable energy that is here tonight, because I'm very young and I am so lucky to have been born in this century when women show such bravery and stand up like that, opening new paths of possibilities for my generation. I'm not even 21 years old yet, and yet I am not afraid to dream big and to step and to stand up for my dreams and to not let anyone's opinions turn me down. And that's thanks in great part to what all these ladies have already done, to all the things that all women have achieved already. Because what one of us achieves is actually making that achievement for all of us. I believe that women should not compete with each other, but actually believe, as our past speakers were highlighting, one achievement you're doing that not only for yourself, but for all those little girls and all those other women that now have that chance and possibility, things you have made it possible and you have shown it through your example. I am very honored to be here. I am very blessed to share this panel with women like you. And again, thank you, happy Women's Day, and just never lose faith and never lose that energy that we need so much, and more now than ever, that we are about to change a paradigm in our world. We're about to flip the coin and change everything. So I'm going to stop now. Thank you so much, Somnath, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Now, without any further delay, I'd like to call upon Jade Glad, who is Miss New Jersey up to 2019.
Hi.
Jade.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone. It's such an honor to be speaking here, and thank you to the GPK Foundation for inviting me. A little bit about myself is I'm Miss New Jersey 2019 and 2020, and I made top 15 at Miss America and also won the onstage interview competition. I'm 21 years old, a junior at Georgetown, double majoring in operations and information management and marketing. And when I was 19 years old, I became the first Chinese American to serve in this role as Miss New Jersey. Shout out to my mom who's watching, who made this all possible for me today. As Miss New Jersey, I've served as a representative of college-aged women and women's achievements as a part of the Miss America organization, which is a scholarship organization nationwide that has made available $25,000 for me to pursue my education at Georgetown, and has also given me a platform to promote my social impact initiative called Healthy Children, Strong America in over a dozen districts across the state of New Jersey. As a rising young businesswoman, a study that was conducted by Sheryl Sandberg's Leong Ying and McKinsey left a lasting effect on me. In that, the effects of COVID-19 has the potential to counteract 5 years of career progress for women. And I've personally seen the effects of this on Georgetown's campus among my peers. I've had friends, many of which are women, who have all of a sudden, because of the pandemic, had their internships rescinded. There are far fewer diversity recruitment opportunities for internships, and that I've seen my friends just so much, and particularly within industries that I'm interested in. So I recruited for financial services and wealth management, and also management consulting, where I'll be interning at PricewaterhouseCoopers in the summer. I've noticed that women have been consistently left out of these underrepresented career fields. And though I do believe that we should have hope. So in terms of representation, throughout the fall, we were going through wealth management recruiting, and all of a sudden, early on in September, Jane Fraser was announced as the next CEO to succeed at Citigroup. And after feeling so let down about being rejected from certain internships, I didn't get every single one of them. It's very difficult to recruit for these firms where the acceptance rate is below 5%. It gave me the motivation to keep going and keep pursuing, even though I'm so underrepresented in the career fields that I was recruiting in. We got to attend, actually the Georgetown students were invited to Citigroup's fireside chat with the new CEO. And she talked about the challenges of being a woman in the business world, talking about how her male colleagues told her she would never make partner because she decided to have a family. And guess what? She did. She made partner at McKinsey, then she transferred over to Citigroup and became the CEO, which has been so inspiring and just been my light for the past year as someone in business. And so we're moving into better times through the vehicle of progress. Just the fact that the NASDAQ even proposed having a board diversity rule meaning that there would need to be 2 diverse women leaders on the board, means that our conversations about representing women in leadership are working. And as a 21-year-old, I'm really excited to see the progress that unfolds within my lifetime that is hopefully a bit long. And I'm also so inspired by so many of you. So I'm gonna drop my email and my phone number in the chat and would love to connect, especially because there's so many people from New Jersey here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jed Glab. What an inspirational story. We got to learn a lot from you. Thank you so much. Next, Sophia Sharma. I'd like to call upon Sophia Sharma for her remarks. She is the attorney at law, practices in the state of New York.
Hello, and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Somnath, for organizing this event. Happy Women's Day to all of you. My name is Sophia Sharma, and I'm honored to be a part of this panel with such amazing, inspiring ladies. Thank you for being and participating in this event. I'm going to keep it short, and like seeing all these amazing women here, I just want to say that I believe that we as women, like there's nothing that we can't achieve because we are very determined. Once we want something, once we have a goal, women are not afraid. They are go-getters. They will get there and they will achieve their goals. But and from like right now in the pandemic, it was just proven, from being the frontline workers to taking on more responsibilities at home, spending so much time with children, juggling with work, with Zoom calls, and so many things. Women just proved once again that they are the true warriors. That being said, COVID-19 also brought to light the so many inequalities that already existed in our society. The cases of domestic violence, abuse, neglect were on the rise. At the same time, when resources for the survivors were not there, people didn't know how to report these cases. So as society, we need to come together. Women especially need to come together, be there for each other, empower each other, and we need to be the support system. And how it's said, like empowered women empower women. So I feel that most of us were lucky that we got the education, we had supporting parents, but there's so many women out there who don't have the resources, or they don't have supporting families. So just to bring more awareness and help the people, and help especially like young girls, show it to them that their dreams can be fulfilled, and be there to support them. And I believe like whatever the women like suffered during the COVID-19 pandemic, the only solution to that would be including more women in decision-making positions. As Honorable Supreme Court Justice RBG rightly said, that women belong in all places where decisions are being made. So the true meaning of women empowerment can only be achieved when women in high positions are no more an exception. Like we don't have to be like, oh, she's a woman and she's holding that position. It shouldn't be an exception, and it should be more of a norm. So that is the day when the society will be inclusive. There would be equality when women and men have the same opportunities. Thank you so much, Somnath, once again for inviting me to this panel. I would like to thank everyone who attended this event today for your effort, hard work, and persistence. You're inspiring young girls. You're inspiring me to do better. Thank you so much. Happy Women's Day once again.
Sophia Sharma, the attorney at law, for your very good thoughts on this panel today. Thanks again. Now, I'd like to call upon Professor Ruchira Gupta, feminist writer and activist. Professor Ruchira Gupta. Professor Ruchira Gupta, are you there? Okay, so I hope not. She will be joining. Then, while she joins, I'll call upon Dr. Uzma Gul, who is also the UN Youth Ambassador and Human Rights Leader. Dr. Uzma Gul, for your remarks.
Hello, everyone. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Somnath ji, for having me here. I was just going through the chat. Actually, there are so many inspiring ladies. I was listening to so many of them. I will re-quote Sophia Sharma ji that women belong in all places where decisions are being made. Every day, what I feel is like through all actions and in the way we lead, we talk, we question, we act, we challenge norms, and we transform habits. We change laws, we take actions and inspire others to create a world without gender-based discrimination, and that is gender equal. And I truly believe that once women are empowered, development become both attainable and sustainable. And saying that, I think we need women representation that reflect all women and girls in all their diversity and abilities and across all cultural, social, economic, and political situation. And this is the only way we get real societal change. And I hope we keep on building this momentum. We keep on seeing more women leaders. We keep on seeing more shining stars like you all having on this platform. Thank you all once again for having me, and happy International Women's Day once again.
Thank you so much, Dr. Usmanpul, for your short and sweet remarks on this important day. Now I would like to invite from India. I think it's early in the morning in India. She's the human rights leader, author, and advisor of India Foundation Center of Soft Power, Ravi Niranjan Desai.
Namaskar and a very good morning to all of you from my end of the world. Yes, it's very early in the morning here, but I think it's a great way to start my day. I would at the outset like to thank the GPK Koirala Foundation, Sujata ji, as well as Mr. Ghimire for thinking of me and inviting me for this panel. We've been through a phenomenally tough year, the last 1 year, a year that no one expected, no one was prepared for, a year that I think if we were to look for a silver lining, a year that taught this generation a few lessons that maybe were much needed. We had not seen anything like this ever before, and India was in an even more precarious situation because of simply the size of our population. Nevertheless, we've done exceptionally well. And apart from the leadership of our Prime Minister, we have the women of this country to thank that are nearly 48% of the population. You know, in India, we saw the role played by frontline workers, women doctors, women scientists, women pharmaceutical company owners, women in the Indian administration, so on and so forth. You know, we saw throughout the pandemic them playing such leading roles. Their contribution was absolutely immense, and it brought us great pride that Indian women worked with such discipline, such tenacity to protect the nation from this pandemic. But, you know, today I thought I'll take this opportunity to speak about some of our women in India, some of our women heroes who worked in the shadows. You see, with 1.3 billion Indians in the midst of an unprecedented 40-day lockdown, which is what we had initially, to defeat this pandemic, the collective strength of women's self-help groups was, and I think continues to be, immense. In India, over 90% of India's districts away from the limelight of the cities, self-help group women were doing such amazing work. They were producing face masks, running community kitchens, delivering essential food supplies, sensitizing people about health and hygiene, and combating all sorts of misinformation that was being spread. Self-help groups under one of India's flagship programs was aimed to reduce poverty by mobilizing poor rural women into self-help groups and building community institutions for the poor. Today, and I think the numbers might surprise some of you, 67 million Indian women are members of 6 million self-help groups. And I think more than ever, these women, many of them who escaped poverty through this SHG route and who know what it is like to be poor, lived up to their motto of self-help and solidarity. And I think that's one of the things that we find with women all around the world, that there is this, all-encompassing solidarity when we are faced with issues and problems. And that's what we saw with these women during this pandemic. They really, I think, showed us leadership bottom up. There were huge numbers of informal workers that lost their livelihoods during the lockdown and had to go back to their native villages. We had all sorts of problems, like food supply chains were disrupted in some areas. But, these women of these self-help groups established, set up almost 10,000 community kitchens across the country to feed stranded workers. To make sure that nobody slept hungry. These SHGs were also helping curb misinformation, with their huge network, women's network across the country. There was this impressive connection amongst all these women, and they used WhatsApp groups. They used speaking to each other to provide critical information. And support, and they in return supported the government in their work. The devastating impact of migrant labor, where huge numbers of suddenly out of work families started walking back to their villages, hundreds and hundreds of miles away. It showed how this critical information and authentic information that these SHGs were distributing came to such help for these people. They were disseminating COVID-related messages among hard-to-reach populations. They created awareness about hand hygiene, social distancing. They had weekly meetings. They were talking about quarantine, self-isolation, through leaflets, songs, videos, phone messages. They were running help desks, delivering essential food supplies, even to the elderly and the quarantined. A large number of people, women came together, like I said, and dedicated their time, their energy. They ran helplines. They ensured that people got medical supplies during the lockdown when none of us could imagine getting out of our homes. These people, these women were out on the roads. They went down to the details, like helping other women access finance during the lockdown. There was finance that was provided by the government to people, to the poorer sections of the society. These women came together and ensured that maybe women who weren't educated, maybe families who had a problem accessing these finances, got their finances at a time when they needed it the most. It was vital. They were called bank sakhis, which means friends of the bank, because they intermediated like this, and continued the banking services to the doorsteps of people who required it. In addition, they also distributed pensions, enabling, I think, the most needy to access credits into their account. These women were given special orientation, and they were given financial incentives. But to say the least, to be able to do this at a time when the country needed the most, I would call them the backbone of this pandemic. The effort has been immense, and mind you, this is when they had their own families to take care of, in-laws, children, husbands, relatives. the dedication and courage has been immense. And I think they truly have emerged as women who have smashed the glass ceiling, changing not just our perspective of what women can do, but also the world's perspective of how India, with the help of its women, has been one of the most successful countries in managing this pandemic effectively. So without taking much of your time, I think I'd like to say that I truly believe that these women who come not from really the most privileged of homes in India really stood out, took control, and did what women do, is solve problems. Thank you.
So much, Rami Desai from India, for your very, very insightful thoughts. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Professor Paloma Mohammed Martin. She is the first female vice chancellor of University of Guyana. In the history, 58-year-old history, she is the first female vice chancellor of University of Guyana. Please welcome Professor Paloma Mohammed Martin.
Hello, good evening, everyone. And I'm really delighted to listen to you and to join you in celebrating this year's International Women's Day. I am, I believe, privileged and terrified at the same time to be the first woman to lead our national university in its 58-year history, and also to be the first woman vice chancellor in any English-speaking Commonwealth university in the Caribbean. And that's a very scary thought. However, I believe that, humanity is a two-winged bird, and that the two wings of that bird are male on one side, female on the other side. And therefore, in order for humanity to really soar, both of those wings need to be strong, empowered, powerful. You can't fly on one wing. Therefore, the world has to pour resources into empowering, protecting, lifting up all women and girls around the world. They have to see this as an investment in humanity and not as a task that is difficult and as a donation, as something that is that they're doing a favor for people, for humans with. The investment in women and girls is an investment in the human race. And at this point in the world, when the pandemic has shown us two sides of how women have responded. On the one side, in academia, for instance, we've seen women come forward and really lead the charge and do things that were amazing in terms of transforming what we had to do in the systems, keeping our staff and students safe, transforming our systems from face-to-face systems to online systems. That has had to happen with anything that we could use to do it without being fully prepared. And then we've seen the very devastating effect on the other side as to how the pandemic has, caused many girls to have to leave and women to have to leave academia for a while, to have to readjust and realign their programs, how their grade points dropped in this time because they've just had to carry on the tasks of being both caregiver and student. It's an exciting time for young women to be in the world indeed, but there's a lot still that has to be done. But I believe it's a hopeful time, even though it's a challenging time. The purpose of humanity, I think the pandemic has made us begin to re-evaluate and re-recognize what humanity's purpose is on Earth. And as we respond to this as a world, as a planet, I believe that the very special role of women in not only birthing humanity, nurturing humanity, cradling humanity, but now lifting humanity up, must itself turn back to itself and do the same for women and girls and any persons in the world, not only women and girls, but they're disproportionately, as we have all said, disadvantaged. But anyone in the world who is vulnerable, who needs protection, who needs care. So having said that, I'd like to say thank you for inviting me I've been inspired, especially to listen to you all, and especially happy to hear from the very young women on the panel. God bless you all, and again, happy International Women's Day.
Thank you, Professor Paloma Martin, for your valuable thoughts sharing in this panel today. As I have extended the time, supposed to be till 9 p.m., I extended 30 minutes more, so we'll be finishing this event by 9:30 p.m. tonight, as the time frame for the speaker was allocated 3 to 5 minutes, but some of the speakers, some of the panelists went a little bit higher than that. So I just added 30 more minutes. Please be patient. I thank you for being patient. I would love to hear everyone's views on this International Women's Day. Next, I would like to call upon Lara Gregory, attorney at law. She's also the advisor of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation, New York chapter. Welcome, Lara Gregory.
Thank you so much, Brother Somnath. I wanted to thank you, and of course, Minister Sujata Koirala, for inviting me tonight, and also for giving me the honor to be your advisor. I will keep this short and sweet because I have learned so much from listening to all of the women in this panel and seeing all the great energy and feeling all the great energy tonight. But today, International Women's Day, I cannot just, but the whole day I was thinking of the fact that the feminist Audre Lorde said that I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when her shackles are very different from my own. And tonight I'm really thinking of someone who is a prisoner of conscience, and her name is Laila de Lima, and she is a senator of the Republic of the Philippines. Due to the fact that we don't have all night, I want to just mention the basic facts that are already established about her. First, by the UN report of the High Commissioner on Human Rights, dated June 20, 2020. And paragraph 58 of it says that Senator de Lima has been arbitrarily detained for 3 years. That was last year. So last February 25, she has been in jail for 4 years. And the only thing that she has committed is to be opposed to a man who has the neck of democracy in the Philippines in his hands and is stifling it. That is the only reason why she's in jail. And ladies and gentlemen, even the United States Senate, in its resolution 142, considers Senator de Lima to be a prisoner of conscience, detained solely on account of her political views and the legitimate exercise of her freedom of expression. I know that there are so many things that I can say tonight, but I won't be able to sleep if I don't talk about a woman who is detained at the time of the pandemic in a 90-degree weather where she does not have air conditioning. She doesn't have any computer. She does not even have a microwave, I think until recently. And you know what? Even if she is not able to participate in the deliberations in the Senate, and she's not even allowed to speak, no computer at all, no telephone, what she does is to write in her own handwriting dispatches from jail. And that, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is what will inspire us tonight, that we will not be quiet, that every woman here will use their voices to speak out against inequality, not just of race, but also when it comes to democracy. We see how fragile it is. Just last month in the US Capitol. And what encourages me tonight is there are men and women here who will not allow anything to happen to our democracy, but we cannot be complacent and we cannot just take care of ourselves. When we see someone who's suffering, even in our own community, even in the Queen's community, and in the world at large, we need to speak out. So what I want from you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is that go on your social platform, go on your social media, be it Twitter, be it Instagram or Facebook, and just use the hashtag Free Laila de Lima now. That's what I want to ask you. We need to speak for those who are silenced. And there are so many women who are being silent. Can you imagine? This is a senator and yet she is in jail. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for giving me the time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lara Gregory, the attorney at law, for your very insightful presence. Thanks again. Next, I'd like to call upon Digna Townsend. She's a community organizer and a human rights activist. Please welcome Digna Townsend for your remarks.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak this evening. I am coming from New Jersey, the beautiful town of Pennsauken Township. It's in Camden County. It's lower down, but I'm very honored to be among the group of women. All the remarks this evening has been, it awakened me. You know, it made me remember why I do the work that I do. It made me remember of why I have late nights, why I get up early in the morning, and why I continue to want to help others and make sure my community is safe and have the things and the resources that they need. So I just want to shout out to Assemblywoman Murphy for always being a strong advocate for women in New Jersey. Mayor Lapanka, thank you for your work as well. And all the other women and assemblywomen and legislators on here. I mean, your work is invaluable and I'm sure it's a thankless job. So I want to just thank you a million times for the work and your leadership and you putting yourself out there, and most likely you'll have those nights of putting yourself last and the things around you first. So thank you. I just can't say that enough. So I'm grateful to stand on the shoulders of many women that came before me in my community that were mentors of mine and so many other friends and families. I just would like to quickly point up and say, empower women, empower women. That's from a wonderful organization that's called Women Empower Women, and check them out online. They are awesome, but this is a prime example of empowered women empowering women. And as we empower each other, we must continue to speak up and continue the work that we do. And one last thing I must mention is so many of us have stated that strong men support women as well. And one strong man I have to mention is President Biden. He has been refocusing and strengthening the Violence Against Women Act and supporting the Congress and Senate as well. And that is commendable on so many levels. So again, thank you so much for having me. And this has been awakening and awesome. So you guys have a great night. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Digna, for your great presentation. Thanks a lot. We will work together in the near future. Next, I'd like to call upon Diana Bonar, who is also educator and human rights activist, for your remarks.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the kindness for letting me jump the line and speak now. I have a 2-year-old baby, and she's already slamming the door, wanting to breastfeed. And I think one sentence that I hear the other day was that it wasn't the children who invaded our screen, it was work who invaded our homes. So I'm very used now as a mother to sometimes I'm giving classes or I have a meeting and she is literally breastfeeding, and that's how it's life now. And I think this is something that we also need to address, is how to be a woman and a mother and a professional, and also working from home that can be extremely challenged. And I am privileged because I have a husband who is here, I have a nanny, I have my mother who helps, but there's many women who is alone at home and doesn't have support, and they're a mother for 2 or 3 kids. And I cannot imagine the level of challenges that these women are facing now. I really don't. I already cried thinking about all these women going through that and being a mom. So I'm from Brazil. I work with conflict management and in communities affected by crime and violence. Here in Brazil, the level of domestic violence raised up to 50% due to the pandemic. Only in 2020, we have more than 120,000 complaints about domestic violence. Each 2 minutes, a woman suffers violence in Brazil, and every 10 minutes, a woman is raped. So Brazil is considered one of the most horrible countries considered violence against women. So thinking about that, and also I'm part of many groups to empower women I have worked in slums of Brazil, which the level of domestic violence is way worse. Consider their vulnerable positions and lack of money and resource to get away from the cycle of violence, which I imagine you all know. So I developed a project called Loom, Reweaving Narratives, and it's supported by the US Department of State Sports Diplomacy Division, together with the University of Tennessee and the Center for Sport, Peace and Society. This project is sort of a workshop and a training for women and men so they can understand how the narratives of the patriarchy was built and how maintain us in a place of submission and violence. So we can only change something that we are aware that exists. And many people today, men and women, they are not aware of what patriarchy means. Sometimes I talk to people and they say like, what, does women suffer violence? Like, what are you talking about? What is machismo? What is chauvinism or whatever? So maybe people here, we know and we're aware and we are fighting against it, but many people doesn't know. And many people inside this bubble of patriarchy, they don't know how bad and how much violence they are doing against other people. So first of all, we need to know what we are fighting against. So then we can empathize and understand all the feelings that come from that. So then we can act and change ourselves and then inspire other people to change. So the project is about that. I can deliver it in Portuguese or in English. So whoever is interested to get to know more about how we do this, I'll be more than happy to share with you. And I felt very inspired for all the women who talked before me here. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored and thank you very much for this space.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Diana, for your valuable talks on this important day. As we extended our time till 9:30 p.m., half an hour more. Now we go to our indigenous people from Nepal. I would like to call upon Mrs. Chiring Sherpa, who is the president of United Sherpa Association of America. Mrs. Chiring Sherpa, president of United Sherpa Association of America. Mrs. Chiring Sherpa, are you there? No. Then I'll call upon Mrs. Goma Yonjan, Vice President of PIPNA, Federation of Indigenous Peoples of Nepal in America. Mrs. Goma Yonjan. I don't think she was earlier. So next I'll call upon Miss Nima Lamo, President of Galsumdo Seva Sanstha USA, for your remarks.
Thank you, Somnath. Namaste, Tashi Dele. Good evening and happy International Women's Day to everyone. I am Nima Lamo, the President of Galsumdo Seva Sanstha USA. Thank you, GPK Foundation, President Somnath Ghimire, for invitation today. I am very happy that we are available to celebrate 111 International Women's Day because of you. All tireless leaders, thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you once again. Thank you so much. Tashi Dele, namaste.
Thank you so much, President of Gyaltsum-do Sewa Sangha USA, Ms. Nima Lamo, for your short and sweet remarks. Next, I'll call upon Ms. Nisa Sunar, who is the acting president of Nepali American Artists Association, for your short remarks. Ms. Nisa Sunar. Ms. Nisa Sunar, are you there? Acting President of Nepali American Artists Association in USA.
Hi everyone, good evening. Hi
Good
Somnath sir. Thank you for invite. Then I hear all the beautiful ladies' voice. Then I learn a lot of things here. So I'm so happy. Thanks for inviting me. Still I'm learning. I have a small daughter. I like to see learn nice thing. Then I learning. Then I singing song. I all the time when I remember now when I was Nepal this time I celebrate the Woman Day. This time I sing. I'm not speaking, but I sing. Then I how to speak the English? I don't know. I singing song. Then I celebrate the Women's Day. So everybody, thanks for joining. Then I learned a lot of things. Then once again, happy Women's Day, and thank you for inviting me. Somnath Ghimire, Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation. Then happy Women's Day, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nisa Sunar. She is the famous artist from Nepal. She is a singer.
Yeah, that's why I don't know how to speak. I sing.
Human rights issues. She her presentation as an artist. She's the most popular singer of Nepal and model. You can even type her name Nisa Sunar in YouTube. You can see a lot. Thanks again for joining today, Nisa Sunar, acting president of Nepali Artists Association in America. Nepali American Artists.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Somnath Ghimire ji. And you did lot of nice things, our community.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Muna Rai, who is the Central President of United Kirat Rai Organization of America.
Hawa, Namaskar, good evening, and happy International Women's Day 2021 to everyone present here today for this virtual event. First of all, on behalf of United Kirat Rai Organization of America, I would like to thank Mr. Somnath Ghimire, the president of GPK Foundation, for the invitation to be a part of this event. It indeed is a privilege and a pleasure. We, UKRA, are a non-profit organization established in 2007 with the aim to preserve, practice, and promote Kirati Rai culture in the United States of America. And it exists in 11 states in the US. Besides the mentioned, UKRA is socially conscious and aware about the causes, effects, and implications concerning violence toward women and, of course, children. Thus, as an organization, as a social organization, we do practice the principle of nonviolence and human rights. We firmly believe in social harmony, interdependence, and respect. Well, as we are honoring and celebrating achievement of women across the globe, I do take this moment to mention the growing violence during this pandemic. Like everywhere, most of the time, like in public place, playground, train station, even at home. It's very hard to believe. To be honest, even I scared to send my daughters to the Taekwondo class at 5 p.m., just at 5 p.m. So as a mother of 2 daughters, and for the name of to all young girls, I do pray and I do make this stand that they should have the rights to a healthy environment to blossom without a fear. Yes, without any kind of fear. So lastly, I congratulate all women achievers during this celebration. You have made us proud, and to all silent supporters who are never in the limelight, you are our backbones. Yes, you all ladies, dynamic ladies who are present here, you are our backbones. Without your endless and selfless supports for women's rights, women would still be in the darkness till today. Thank you all for being such an incredible inspiration. Please, please keep up the good work and make the world more healthier and safer. Thank you. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. My friend, my college friend, Somnath Ghimire, the president of GPK Foundation, well done. And God bless everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind remarks, President of UKRAO, Mrs. Munarai. Thanks again. Now I'd like to call upon Samantha Bender, who is a Legislative Director to Assembly Member Bill Nguyen.
Hi, how are you? I just want to say thanks so much for having me on. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be on this with so many amazing women. It's just been really great to hear everything that everyone has to say. My name's Samantha. I work in the New Jersey Legislature. Shout out to Assemblywoman Murphy, who may have already hopped off, but I did have the privilege of working for her previously. And I also live in Maple Shade in Burlington County. And I also used to live in Lumberton, where Mayor LaPlaca is the mayor. So it's really great to, it's a small world on here. So hi, Mayor. I heard this quote used a lot, that empowered women empower women. And I kind of wanted to speak to that a little bit because while we're all familiar with the legislation that needs to pass and laws that need to be done to reach equality and equity, you still need to empower yourself to then lead by example and empower others. I think we've all heard of the example where, when women apply for jobs, if they don't mark every bullet point, they're not going to apply for it because they think, oh, I'm not qualified. But when men do it, they're like, oh, I meet like these 3 bullet points out of the 5, I'm going to still do it. So I think it's incredibly important to empower yourself, be confident, and then also through your actions, pass the torch and empower other women and lead by example and make sure that, actions speak louder than words. And there's a lot of young girls that are going to look up to you and you really just want to be there for them, to empower them, to fight for equality and equity in the future. So thank you again for having me on, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samantha Bender, for your short and sweet remarks. Next, I'll call upon Selale Anapa, community advocate and human rights activist. For your remarks, please.
Thank you, Somnath. I'm going to follow Ms. Jade Glab and Deputy Binda's example by waving hello to my mom and my baba for being here watching me and joining in this conversation. I'm so honored to be here with all of you today. A little bit about me. I am a community advocate, a consultant to a trauma-informed management firm, and an educational assistant at a Southern New Jersey middle school. Like all of us, COVID has brought so many changes to my life, but I'm very cognizant of how fortunate I have been in these changes through my career. This past year, I moved from working with an international women's nonprofit to a private sector social impact organization to finally making my way into the educational sphere. As I've navigated my way through each change, I've met awe-inspiring and change-making women in action. And women's leadership during this time, decisive, compassionate, thoughtful, and intentional leadership has been a catalyst for change, as we can all see. As we know, COVID has challenged and devastated all of us individually as well as collectively. It is a human crisis with potentially lasting socioeconomic consequences. And the events of this past year have caused us to reimagine our social fabric. I believe a lot of this change has been meaningful, and I hope it will continue to be. I know it will continue to be if we continue to take gender inclusive, gender responsive, and trauma-informed approaches to decision-making. COVID has increased gender poverty gaps, as we know, and the pandemic will push 96 million people into extreme poverty, 47 million being women and girls. This means that 435 million women and girls around the world will be living on $1.90 or less. COVID is increasing inequality. But as Kimberly Crenshaw, American law professor, said, all inequality is not created equal. The impact of this crisis is not uniform, and the challenges of the virus have exacerbated long-standing inequalities and decades of discriminatory practices, which are changing the trajectories of identifying women and girls globally. Therefore, as we know, women's leadership must be intersectional. Feminism must be intersectional, and policy must reflect these intersectionalities. As we move forward, we need to dedicate our efforts in understanding how people's multiple social identities can overlap and create compounding experiences of discrimination. We need to center these voices of those experiencing overlapping concurrent forms of oppression in order to understand the depths of the inequalities and the relationships among them in the context of COVID, but also beyond. From there, I believe that we can build inclusive and meaningful ecosystems. Inequality is a problem for all of us, is not just a problem for one. And this time is really a time for us to reframe conversations to create change and uplift all identifying women to create proportionate and adequate representation. Another point, I just want to say that conversations on mental health need to be had in all leadership spaces and outside of leadership spaces. The demands of today are unlike anything we've seen before, and each day brings about something new. I believe that with compassion, understanding, and the dedication to self-education as well as community education, we can transform and envision ourselves as the co-creators of what comes next. That is all I want to say. That I'm so grateful to be a part of tonight's conversation. And thank you to all of the individuals on this call that are creating and transforming change in our community. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Salale Anapa, for your insight thoughts on this celebration today. Next, I'll call upon Jocelyn Nguyen, founder of Dragon Entertainment and entrepreneur. Jocelyn Nguyen.
You need to unmute Jocelyn.
Can you all hear me? See, yes,
Yeah.
if come up, you can hear me. First of all, thank you so much for having me here tonight. And under God, we family. And I have to shout out to my father and mother in Vietnamese that who very far and participate in this. Cảm ơn Chúa, cảm ơn cha mẹ, anh chị em đã cho con có ngày hôm nay được nhìn thấy ánh sáng mặt trời, và cảm ơn JKB and the everyone that have me today. And I would so much want to say, but first and foremost, again, thank you so much for having me today and inspired and my voice being heard at the immigrant who get caught in between two cultures. And I have to say so much thank you to my husband, Grandmaster Tyron Bullock, who is my grandmaster, who also my teacher and my dearly husband, who dedicated all his life into transform a women, all women, 10,000 women like myself, to be successful, to be confident, to be a different, one step in front of the other, and able to transform and avoid being hurt by COVID-19 have changed dramatically to a very, very good incorporation that my husband able to put together a group of individually like Dr. Leon, and thank you so much, Doctor, to put us together to be heard today that my husband's dream is to be able to keep the legacy going, especially to a young generation like the grandchildren, and together transform me, that I be able to go to work and come home, be a wife, and share my story, that how I overcome with 3 times of cancer, stage 4, and a survival, that manage my time to go to work, make the money. And many times I look at myself, at God, what I able to do to be able to be heard out there, that other women, old, young, and old age, that say that, you know what, Jocelyn, how she be able to overcome stage 4 of lymphoma, still go to work, take your husband, take your father, take your mother, have a career, and be able with my husband to be in the Dragon Entertainment, develop it, and also teach other people, other women, to be confident in their health and be able to support their husband and their children, just like our lady has said. Take your children, breastfeeding, go to work, take care of family. Yes, I manage my time. I wake up and I go to work. I come home, I clean, I cook, and I with my husband together take care of our niece, our other lady that who come to our home. And our dream is this: the children, especially the lady, young girl, that nowadays, because of they cannot go to school physically, they homeschool. So they basically in school home, and they add on the group chat or the video, they talking and fighting. Look at those videos. So my husband and my dream, especially, he wanted to be heard, to be out there, that can be able to develop some kind of martial artist game, that instead of fighting, this is we in terms of we meditating and transform. And that's what our dream. And again, on behalf of Dragon Entertainment, my husband, Dr. Leon, I want to say thank you so much for having me here, and to the God, we all family. And again, thank you so much me being here today.
Thank you so much for your valuable input, Jocelyn. Thanks a lot for your patience. Because of the time frame, we have to extend 30 minutes more. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to call upon Malini Saha, who is a community leader and social activist, and you name it, all over. She's all over in the Queens community, helping everyone. Please welcome Malini Saha.
Thank you, Somnath-ji. As we raise awareness, thank Sujata-ji and GPK Foundation. Many take actions for equality. Many celebrate social, cultural, and political achievements of women. But I salute all of you. I salute all those who have continuously worked in the front line during COVID, those who have helped heal the body, mind, and soul, especially in these times, those who have helped end all forms of violence against women and human trafficking, those who have helped women achieve financial independence during these times, help change women's lives, and help with mental health issues, what we've been going through. And I can go on. As we look forward to the future, let's think, talk, and act and continue on what we are doing. And I must say, I do enjoy the work we do at the Center for the Women. It was great to see our President, Victoria, speak tonight. And we advocate for women's rights and full equality for women, and we empower women. And I would love to invite and extend an invitation for this Thursday at 11, where we'll be celebrating Melinda Katz, the first woman female district attorney, Melinda Katz, and NYPD first female chief of patrol, Juanita Holmes, this Thursday at 6 to 7 p.m. It will be on the Center for Women website. And I'm also happy to be on the board of Lisa Promise, where we help underprivileged girls. And it was a great, wonderful pleasure of being here tonight and meeting everyone. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, our great leader, Melissa, for your short and sweet remarks. Next, I'll call upon Michelle Dunstan. Michelle Dunstan, she is the president of Left Rock City Tenant Association. And I believe she is running for district leader as well. Michelle Dunstan. Michelle, are you there? Michelle Dunstan, are you there? There are a lot of phone without the name on it in the Zoom link. Those who join on this platform, there is no name on it. So I believe she has joined or not. I call again Michelle Dunstan for your remarks. She's also the president of Left Rock City Tenants Association. Looks like she's not there. Next, I'll call upon Dr. Keshav Bhattrai, who is the advisor of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation America, for your remarks. Dr. Keshav Bhattrai. Dr. Keshav Bhattrai, please unmute.
Hello. Shununja, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Somnathji, for inviting me on this occasion. Actually, I do not have very many points to state. So on this occasion, I would like to remember the great leader, GP Koirala, for his contribution to female education and rights in Nepal. On this occasion, I wish the well-being of effective leadership of women in general and the Nepali women in particular. I congratulate to Honorable Sujata Koirala for her leadership to Nepali women. At the time of today's COVID crisis, women are among those most heavily affected. From the medical perspective, early evidence suggests that COVID-19 seems to hit men harder than women. Fatality rates for men have contracted COVID-19, who have contracted COVID-19 have 60 to 80% higher than women. And it is because women are very careful, very sensitive to the community. However, COVID-19 is spread around the world. The impact of the pandemic on women is becoming increasingly severe. In Nepal, women are at the forefront of the battle of this pandemic because they must take care of the victims in the family. The government should consider extending access to unemployment benefit to women groups to help women victims of violence who may face more violence when trapped at home with their abuser. Government should ensure that service providers work together, share information, and think carefully about how to support victims when their means of communication may be closely monitored by the abuser with whom they live. In general, increased unemployment tends to encourage women to go back to traditional gender roles. Unemployed men are favored more heavily in the hiring process when jobs are scarce, while unemployed women take more household and take care of the family. And these points have been mentioned by previous speakers, and so I don't think I would be contributing more on these occasions. Again, I would like to thank Somnathji for giving me these opportunities. And I was actually preparing the role of Girija Prasad Koirala on the upliftment of the women communities and education in Nepal. But I found that the talk has been in different directions. So therefore, I would like to stop at this point. Once again, I would like to thank Somnathji and other participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Keshav Bhattrai, for your short and sweet remarks on this 111th International Women's Day celebration. Next, I'd like to call upon Mrs. Sita Sapkota. who is the coordinator of GPK Koirala Foundation Europe. Sita Sapkota. Okay, followed by Mrs. Nirmala Rana, coordinator of GPK Koirala Foundation Macau, for your remarks. Next, followed by Ms. Rita Dulal, coordinator of GPK Koirala Foundation Cyprus. Please unmute. Okay, next followed by John J. Bulolhan Jr., advisor of GPK Koirala Foundation America chapter.
Good evening, everyone. I'm obviously going to keep this just very brief. First, it's an honor to be an advisor to GPK Foundation America, and it was especially an honor to help build this event where I got the opportunity to do probably what the most important thing for me to do this evening was to listen to all these remarkable women leaders and think really critically about what we need to do to make sure that both the wings of the bird are developed for society to fly. I think you have to come into a discussion like this to realize that all types of organizations are most effective when they're reflective of the communities they serve. And frankly, until organizations are half or slightly more than half women, we're not going to get there, and we have to continue to fight to get there. I think GPK Foundation and the GPK Foundation America chapter really do lead by example in this regard, both the leadership of Honorable Sujata Koirala, as well as Somnath in both their approach to all their panels, making sure that we hear when we're doing substantive panels, there's always a strong representation of women throughout the world, women of color, and those voices need to be heard in all serious discussions, and women need to have a seat at every table. For me, when I think about International Women's Day, I think it's an opportunity to really take a chance to look back at the year that has passed and a chance to look forward. And I think as all the themes have come out this evening, prior to the pandemic, there was still so much work to be done. And the pandemic in many ways has set us back and sort of pushed women out of the workplace. And what we need to do is make sure that that's not allowed to continue. I think in short, I look at both in my professional office environment, I'm blessed to be the director of an office that of 19 people, 17 are women, and a majority of those 17 are women of color. It's part of a large organization of 150, and there's a commitment by my supervisors and myself to try to bring in talent that can later build into roles in that organization. And I think that's an approach we all need to take, men and women on this panel. We need to find ways to make sure we do talent recruitment of women and diverse women. We need to find a way to make sure we do talent retention, make sure that people are able to have families while they work. Too often that burden falls on women to have to choose, and that's not right. We have to make sure that we continue to develop that talent and that doesn't stagnate, and that we don't recreate glass ceilings just a little bit higher. With that, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to listen to everything you have to offer, and I look forward to the next time we can be together.
Thank you so much, our advisor, John J. Bulolhan, for your great support, compassion, and suggestion moving forward in terms of uplifting our communities working together. Thanks again. Next, I'd like to call upon Alana Berman, who is the advisor of GPK Koirala Foundation America chapter. Miss Alana Berman. Next, I'll call upon Dr. Leong Ying, who is the creator of Clistar and mentor Please welcome Dr. Leong Ying for your remarks.
Well, I'm going to keep this very, very short because I'm extremely proud. This is my award-winning book. I'm not pointing to it because it's my award-winning book, but this picture is of my mother and myself. So I'm very proud that I'm a mummy's boy. All right, I follow this woman into this world, and this woman is the woman that I'm so proud that's given me everything, more than just my life. And I want to be so proud that I'm continuing following women all my life. I make no shame with that. I make no shame that I'm mummy's boy. I make no shame that I'm so proud that everyone that is leading, including my organization, our collective, which is out there empowering women, which is out there saving children, including taking bullets, members of our organization taking bullets in their heads. All right, they're not just talking, they're walking their act. Okay, the creator of our collective, I'm honored, is two women, Teresa Nackley and Maggie Law. And I'm so proud that my fellow, our collective, are all women on this panel. Okay, including Lucia Kaiser, including Jocelyn Nguyen, including Diane Bonar. Okay, I am so proud that I follow all those women. Okay, so I make no shame of that. I've achieved a lot, but I could not achieve anything without my mother. I could not achieve anything without these women leaders. And I make no shame at all to be very, very proud that I follow all you great women and great men as well. We're all equal. We're all equal. And I'm so proud that I follow a great leader in Somnath that gives a voice to everyone that is not heard. Okay. So I want to thank Somnath. I want to thank Sujata Koirala, who I was so honored to meet in New York 2 years ago. She is also an inspiration, a woman leader, okay? So God bless you, all you women. God bless all your mothers. God bless all the sisters. God bless you all right? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leong Ying. Without you, there would have been great panelists on this panel today. Thank you for your love and support as always. And now, as we have 10 more minutes, I see some of our great leaders joining this event. I'll call upon His Highness Guru Dilip Kumarji that we had earlier an event he did inviting all the UN human rights leaders. Today we're together in that panel this afternoon. Please welcome His Highness Dilip Kumar Kapanam Guruji for your remarks.
Namaste everyone, it is my great pleasure and honor to join, and I want to congratulate my brother Somnath ji to bring Sujata Koirala to our UN event today. And I saw my close friends, Dr. Ada and Malinisha, elected official Jennifer, Ronda, and some other people I see here. I know all of you do hard work for the community. I'm so proud of you because the new generation, they can understand the value of the humanity. I believe within 20 years, this country will change. I'm living in New York last 21 years. I never took a citizenship. I'm waiting for the day when we have a black woman president in this country. Yes, I will take it. Until that, no. Thank you, everyone. Work hard to make a female president in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Guruji, for your short and sweet remarks. Next, I see Ada Juni Okika. Please, I welcome for your remarks, Ada Juni Okika.
Dr. Ada.
Can you hear me? Dr. Ada Juni Okika. Okay, Dr. Ada, while you join, I'll call upon our community leader, social activist, Dr. Pallavi Patel, for your short remarks on this International Women's Day.
Good evening, everyone. It's just been a pleasure to hear everyone here, not from the political view. By profession, I'm an occupational therapist. I am also a small business owner. Just to make it very short, I work with the children with special needs. When I'm working with the children with the special needs, I'm not only serving those children, however, I'm more working with the families, especially when it comes to the families, single moms who has this lot of parenting difficulties. All I can say which post you are, which profession you are into. So just for myself, I can say while working with these families, I do make sure that I empower this woman, I educate these women, and I make sure that whatever resources I can provide with them in the community, I try my best to go through. So and I do make sure just by educating them, like do not stop dreaming, do not give up. Most importantly, when you see the woman, instead of just saying what can be done, how can we do it? How can we help? That's what matters at the point. So being a privilege at this platform, thank you, Somnathji. And again, happy International Women's Day to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pallavi Patel ji, for your short and sweet remarks on this important day, celebrating together. We are honored to be a part in this event. Next, I'd like to call upon Dr. Rajan Pant, advisor of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation America chapter. Dr. Rajan Pant. Okay, I don't see him there. Next, I'll call on the name list that I see in the Zoom panel chat. Dana Cummings, for your short remarks. I'll call upon Dana Cummings for your short remarks. Please unmute. I see the name called Dylan, followed by the Dylan for your short remarks, Dylan. Can you hear me, Dylan? Please input your short remarks on this special day. Next, I call Jen Porges. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Jen Porges, for your short remarks on this International Women's Day celebration. Jen Porges. Next, I'd like to call upon, followed by Kranti Aryal, who is a woman leader of our Nepali Johnson Workers Committee, America. Kranti Aryal.
Thank you, Somnath Ghimire, for giving me this platform. I would like to extend my greetings to all the beautiful and hardworking and dedicated women all around the world. Happy 111th International Women's Day to all of you. And it was very inspiring to hear all of you. You guys rock it out. So keep shining. And as they say, charity begins from home. But with that said, I would like to urge all the male partners, fathers, brothers, sons, please encourage and support your wives, mothers, sisters, daughters, and let them be what they want to be. Be their support system. As a woman, we need to raise our voice as well when we need to. Encourage and support one another, and also be grateful to men who are always there for us. Be proud what you are, value, recognize your own, recognize and own your own successes and failures. And thank you very much. Happy Women's Day once again. Keep shining. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your short and sweet remarks, Kranti Aryal. She is an emerging leader of Nepali community in the United States.
Thank you so much.
Support her. Thanks. Next, I'll call upon McQuillan for your short remarks. Okay, followed by our Nepali journalist, Sunita Sharma Koirala.
Hi, good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank you, GPK Koirala Foundation, for organizing these wonderful events. I would also like to thank you, Honorable Sujata Koirala, GPK Koirala Foundation New York Chapter President, Mr. Somnath Ghimire, including all inspiring women who have been participating in this meeting and have been supporting and keep fighting for all women's rights, women's equality, and all other women's empowering issues. So today is very big incredible day to all of us. So I don't have any questions, but I would like to say happy 111th Women's Day to all of us, and I'd like to say keep inspiring all women. Please keep inspiring to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our journalist Sunita Sharma Koirala, for your short and sweet remarks on this very important day today, celebrating 111th International Women's Day. If anyone of in the panel or join, if you want to say a minute remarks, please do so. Who haven't? Yeah.
Sorry, Sona. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to apologize. I forgot to thank the youngest and most inspiring member of our collective, Andrea Wen. She's done so much in creating the One Humanity, One World global social movement, which you sure should follow. So shame on me for forgetting, because she's the future, not me, not this old man. She is the future. So remember that. So future to all you young, bright, courageous young women. All right, just want to mention that. Thank you.
So you are in mute.
You're on mute. Somnath, you're on mute.
Oh, okay, got it. Technical difficulties, sorry. Yeah, we are just joined by Nirmala Thapa Magar, who is the coordinator of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation, Macau. Please welcome Mrs. Nirmala Thapa Magar for your remarks.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the world beautiful ladies, and especially namaste to all the Nepalese ladies and Honorable Sujata Koirala ji. And thank you, Mr. Somnath ji, for letting me to participate in this big platform on International Women's Day. I was cut off in the middle, but I could listen half of the ladies, the powerful voice, where we can see they are talking about women power. It's so nice to hear from America. They have been working as a mayors, deputy mayors. The ladies are being in the powerful positions where they can make the decisions for the whole state and the country. Like, we live in a men's dominating society, which is so critical and hard to survive. But still, we are lucky enough so that we can live our life as our, what can I say? Like, we can live our life with our style, but most of the Nepalese ladies are not able to live their life as they wish. But in future, I wish, I request all the political leaders who are working in Nepalese government to empower women and give the priority and do the equality as men's. Last few years, we have been hearing so many rape victims, domestic violence victims. So next year, we could see, maybe we could minimize those kind of victims. Women has to live their life freely and independently. Hope a Nepalese government will help them to get the employment opportunity, well, education opportunity in future. When we see our children's, grandchildren's, they will be proud to be Nepalese women. I wish them to live their life freely like we do, because in Nepal, as we all know, there's not too much freedom for ladies. So wish everyone happy International Women's Day. And like men's like Somnath ji and other men who are on this platform, they are giving us the equal rights and they're empowering women. That is so fortunate, and we're so lucky on this platform. Thank you, Somnath ji, again. I would like to stop over here. I think there are a few more ladies, they want to tell something about themselves. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nirmala Thapamagar, for your very last minute input. I saw you earlier, but you had to leave for your special, I think, business. Thanks again for your inputs at the last minute. She is also the coordinator of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation Macau, and one of our women leader also, and she will empower women. Thanks again. Is Leon, is Teresa de Jesus Nestle is online? I call Teresa de Jesus, founder of.
I don't think she's online, I'm afraid, Somnath. Sorry, I didn't see her online, I'm afraid.
All right, so that's the end of this today's historical event, 111th International Women's Day. We celebrated virtually. We hope next year we can celebrate in person, meeting each other and hugging each other. Let's hope for the best 2021. And to conclude this, I'd like to call upon Ramchandra Adhikari, the central member of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation, working committee member of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation America chapter, to thank all our distinguished panelists and VIPs and the guests. Please, Ramchandra Adhikari, put your thank you note.
Yes, please. Yes. Thank you, respected Chairman, Mr. Somnath Ghimire, GPK Foundation and US Chapter Chairman, our respected Chairman, Sujata Koirala Dijo, respected and distinguished all the guests and panelists. Today, I'm so glad to say, happy 111th International Women's Day. Actually, I'm so inspired by the voices of the ladies who globally joined with us of different aspects and different categories. I'm so inspired by listening your voices to empower the world, not only the women, to empower the humanity, to empower the politics, to empower the whole global change. That's very amazing, global virtual conference. I'm so glad. Today, nearly 2.5 hour time, we joined nearly 60 people globally from the different categories, like from congresswoman, assemblywoman, mayor, deputy mayor, attorney at law, human rights activist, Miss New Jersey, models, indigenous people from the society, from the different parts of the world. It was amazing. The people joined from Spain, Brazil, Macau, India, Nepal. It was amazing. They have the different time, but they joined together in the midnight, somebody waiting for the program and joined together. It's amazing. I'm so happy and glad to say thank you, everybody, because we have the diversity in the world. We have the diversity. We have different castes, different ethics, different religion, different language, different types of voices, but we are unity. That's the amazing thing. That is the main thing, is unity among the diversity. I'm so happy to say this word, unity among the diversity. We are uniting here globally, the people. That's amazing. So you people who have amazing thoughts, everybody has unique power, unique thought that can inspire the other guy. That is the very important part of human and humankind. So on behalf of the central member of GPK Koirala Foundation US chapter, I'm so happy to say everybody, our respected guests, thank you once again. In coming future, we will do more, programs, and we'll do best by joining with you guys. You are very important, guys. Thank you, everybody. Stay healthy, and good night. Have a good day, everybody. Wherever you are, be safe, be healthy. Thank you. Thank you once again. Good night.
Thank you so much for your thank you, Nur Ramchandra Adhikari. I just received a final message from our Central President of Girija Prasad Koirala Foundation, Central President Honorable Sujata Koirala, who is also the former Deputy Prime Minister of Nepal and former Foreign Minister of Nepal and influential woman leader of Nepal, Central Working Committee member of Nepali Congress. She just she has to attend another meeting, so she has to leave early. And on thanking to all our distinguished panelists today, she wrote this note. So I'm reading out to you all. Okay, so the note, she says, the real peace and love will only can prevail in this world when we learn to respect each human beings as our own grandmothers, grandfathers, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers. Let us devote for equity and with equality. Every woman is born a warrior woman. Again, she quoted, every woman is born as a warrior woman. So all genders, all caste, no matter what they believe in, together we can all help create an inclusive world. Only possible from challenges that becomes changes. So we have to face challenges to make changes. I strongly believe that a woman can be a leader of as many as countries of the world. Again, happy 111th International Women's Day. Thank you all for your valuable time, for your valuable inputs, for your knowledge that you share among us. We learn a lot from you. Thanks again. Stay safe and well. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Somnath. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Logging out of live stream. If you guys still have